Picture walking through Ukraine's bustling capital, where golden domed churches stand majestically next to glass towers reaching toward the sky. This Eastern European powerhouse harbors one of the continent's most striking social phenomena. Something so unprecedented, it's reshaping everything we thought we knew about modern relationships and demographic balance. What makes Ukraine extraordinary isn't just its rich cultural heritage or technological advancement. The nation faces a demographic reality that places it third among European countries for having the highest concentration of single women resulting from a critical male population deficit. The numbers tell a stark story. 1,170 women exist for every 1,000 men, creating social dynamics that have completely upended traditional dating norms. In cities like Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa, this statistical reality manifests as something remarkable. Men have become as precious as gold bullion. Ukrainian women, celebrated worldwide for their sophistication and resilience, navigate a social landscape where securing male companionship requires unprecedented levels of competition and strategy. Quick pause here. YouTube keeps removing channel subscriptions without warning users. Take a moment to verify you're still subscribed and drop a like. It helps the algorithm and ensures you catch our upcoming content. Your thoughts in the comment section are always appreciated too. What we're examining goes far beyond mere demographic trivia or statistical anomalies. This represents a fundamental social transformation affecting romantic partnerships, family formation patterns, and cultural traditions across one of Europe's largest nations. Ukraine's male scarcity has birthed an entirely new romantic economy, where masculine presence commands premium value in every social interaction. Think this sounds exaggerated? Keep watching as we dive deep into how this demographic shift is revolutionizing Ukrainian society from its core, explore what daily life looks like when women significantly outnumber men, and discover why international bachelors are increasingly viewing Ukraine as their romantic promised land. This male shortage didn't materialize overnight or through random demographic luck. Multiple generations of historical trauma, economic upheaval, and social transformation have converged to create this extraordinary situation that we're about to dissect thoroughly. The ripple effects extend into every corner of Ukrainian life, fundamentally altering how people meet, date, marry, and build families. Traditional courtship rules have been thrown out the window, replaced by an entirely new social playbook that would seem alien to most other European societies. From workplace hierarchies to family dynamics, Ukraine's gender imbalance has created a living laboratory for understanding how demographic extremes reshape human behavior and social structures. Understanding Ukraine's position as Europe's third highest nation for single women requires examining the historical catastrophes that decimated its male population across multiple generations. The 20th century brought Ukraine face to face with some of humanity's darkest chapters. Stalin's engineered famine, known as the Holodomor, struck between 1932 and 1933, systematically starving between 3.5 and 5 million Ukrainians to death. This artificial genocide particularly targeted men working in agriculture and collective farming operations. World War II delivered another devastating blow to Ukraine's demographic balance. Over 5 million Ukrainians perished during the conflict, with military-age males bearing the heaviest casualties. Entire urban centers lost complete generations of young men who marched off to war and never returned home to rebuild their communities. The post-war Soviet period brought different but equally lethal challenges for Ukrainian men. The country became a hub for heavy industry, steel production, coal mining in the Donbas region, and chemical manufacturing. These sectors employed predominantly male workforces under conditions that were systematically destroying their health and shortening their lifespans. Industrial accidents became routine occurrences. Toxic chemical exposure was considered an occupational hazard, and workplace safety standards remained virtually non-existent. Ukrainian men found themselves trapped in industries that prioritized production quotas over human survival, creating a slow-motion demographic disaster. The Chernobyl nuclear catastrophe in 1986 added another layer to this demographic tragedy. The cleanup crews, known as liquidators, consisted primarily of young Ukrainian men who volunteered or were conscripted for this dangerous mission. Thousands died from acute radiation exposure, while countless others developed cancers that would claim their lives over subsequent decades. Ukraine's independence in 1991 triggered massive labor migration waves as economic opportunities evaporated domestically. Millions of Ukrainian men sought employment in Russia, Poland, Germany, and across Western Europe, abandoning their homeland for better wages and living conditions. This migration pattern proved more permanent than anyone anticipated. Research indicates that over 70% of male emigrants established new lives abroad, forming relationships and starting families in their host countries rather than returning to Ukraine. Simultaneously, the economic chaos of the 1990s and early 2000s drove many remaining Ukrainian men toward destructive coping mechanisms. Alcoholism and drug addiction rates soared, further reducing male life expectancy and availability for family formation. These converging historical forces created the perfect storm for Ukraine's current demographic crisis. Today's cities showcase an unprecedented level of feminization, with women dominating virtually every public space and social institution. This transformation has accelerated over the past 20 years, making Ukraine a unique case study for demographers studying extreme gender imbalances in developed societies. Point 1. Ukraine's male shortage has triggered a complete economic revolution, transforming industries traditionally dominated by men into female-majority workplaces. Construction sites across major Ukrainian cities now employ women for over 40% of their workforce, a phenomenon virtually unheard of elsewhere in Europe. These aren't token positions either. Women are operating heavy machinery, managing construction teams, and taking on physically demanding roles that were exclusively male domains just a generation ago. This industrial shift has created a new demographic of economically powerful women who often out-earn the limited pool of available men. The traditional breadwinner dynamic has completely inverted, with women frequently becoming the primary income generators in relationships. Point 2. Dating culture has undergone a complete role reversal compared to Western norms. Ukrainian women now initiate romantic pursuits, plan dates, and compete aggressively for male attention rather than waiting to be approached. Men have adapted to being courted rather than doing the courting. They can maintain multiple romantic options simultaneously without social stigma, effectively becoming the selectors rather than the pursuers in romantic scenarios. Dating apps reveal this imbalance starkly. Ukrainian cities show approximately 4 women for every man on platforms like Tinder and Badoo. Men receive hundreds of messages daily, while women struggle to capture even brief male attention spans. Point 3. Social stigma around singlehood has intensified to extreme levels for Ukrainian women. By age 25, unmarried women in rural areas face significant social pressure and are often labeled as undesirable or too selective. This pressure drives many Ukrainian women to explore international dating markets, seeking partners from neighboring countries or through global online platforms. Specialized websites connecting Ukrainian women with Western men have become billion-dollar industries. Point 4. International bride agencies have capitalized on this demographic imbalance, creating organized tours where foreign men travel to Ukraine specifically to meet potential wives. These marriage tours command prices between $5,000 and $15,000, including translation services, social events, and success guarantees. The industry generates over $100 million annually within Ukraine alone. Point 5. Fertility rates have plummeted as women struggle to find stable partnerships for family formation. Ukraine's birth rate crashed from 2.1 children per woman in 1990 to just 1.2 in 2020. This figure falls dangerously below the 2.1 replacement rate needed to maintain population stability. Fertility clinics report 500% increases in egg freezing consultations as single women hedge against uncertain romantic futures. Many 30-year-old Ukrainian women now view assisted reproduction as their primary family-building strategy rather than traditional partnership routes. This reproductive crisis compounds the existing demographic challenges facing the nation. Demographic experts warn that current trends could reduce Ukraine's population from 44 million today to 20 million by 2070. This represents an existential threat to the country's long-term viability as an independent nation-state. Point 6. Mass emigration of Ukrainian men to Western Europe has accelerated the demographic crisis exponentially, creating cascading effects that worsen annually. Since EU labour market liberalisation in 2004, over 3 million Ukrainian men have relocated permanently to other European countries. Poland alone absorbed 1.2 million Ukrainian workers, predominantly males, aged 20 to 40. These emigrants rarely maintain meaningful connections to Ukraine. Studies show 70% establish permanent relationships in their destination countries, marrying local women and raising families abroad rather than returning home. This brain drain has effectively eliminated an entire generation of reproductive-age Ukrainian men. Cities like Ivano-Frankivsk, Ternopil, and Lutsk now report some of the world's most extreme gender imbalances, with rural areas reaching 1,500 women per 1,000 men. Point 7. The psychological toll of chronic male shortage has created an unprecedented mental health crisis among Ukrainian women. Mental health professionals report 300% increases in depression and anxiety diagnoses among single women aged 25 to 40. Many develop what clinicians term romantic scarcity syndrome, a condition characterized by obsessive partner-seeking behaviors and extreme relationship anxiety. Specialized therapy programs for women struggling with hyper-competitive dating markets have emerged in major cities. These treatments cost between $500 and $2,000 monthly, substantial expenses by Ukrainian standards. Point 8. The beauty and self-improvement industry has experienced explosive growth as women invest heavily in standing out within saturated romantic markets. Ukrainian women typically allocate 30% of their income toward personal enhancement, gym memberships, cosmetic procedures, fashion and social skills training. Breast augmentation, liposuction, and facial treatments have become nearly mandatory among urban professional women. Point 9. International dating platforms have identified Ukraine as their most profitable European market, generating massive revenues by exploiting female desperation for overseas romantic connections. Companies like International Cupid and Ukraine Brides earn over $50 million annually facilitating connections between Ukrainian women and foreign men. These platforms charge premium fees for basic communication features, with many women spending hundreds monthly on membership costs. Underground coaching industries have emerged where desperate women pay up to $1,000 for courses on attracting and retaining male attention. Female seduction consultants have discovered Ukraine represents an incredibly lucrative market opportunity. Personal testimonies from Ukrainian women reveal the emotional intensity surrounding romantic competition. Many describe constant anxiety about relationship status, persistent feelings of inadequacy, and overwhelming pressure to secure male partnerships. The social pressure has become so intense that some women consider emigration purely to escape local romantic competition and access more balanced gender ratios in other countries. Point 10. Ukraine's demographic trajectory has reached critical mass, threatening the nation's long-term survival as a viable society. Leading demographers project that maintaining current trends could eliminate 40% of Ukraine's population by 2050. The combination of continued male emigration, sub-replacement fertility rates, and rapid aging creates an existential national crisis. Rural Western Ukraine is already experiencing complete demographic collapse. Entire villages now house only elderly women and children, creating ghost communities where new births have virtually ceased. Government initiatives to reverse emigration through tax incentives, free land grants, and cash subsidies up to $10,000 have failed to attract meaningful numbers of male returnees. Point 11. For Ukrainian men who remain domestically, the demographic situation creates both extraordinary opportunities and significant psychological burdens. Men enjoy unprecedented romantic choices, maintaining multiple simultaneous relationships without social consequences. Women compete intensively for their attention, offering financial and emotional support that would be unimaginable in balanced societies. However, this privilege comes with enormous pressure. Ukrainian men face unrealistic expectations for economic success and emotional availability across multiple relationships simultaneously. Many develop what psychologists identify as involuntary polygamy syndrome, feeling overwhelmed by constant female attention while losing capacity for meaningful emotional connections. Point 12. The male shortage has enabled new forms of sexual exploitation disguised as romantic relationships. Desperate women frequently accept financially abusive arrangements where they provide domestic services, sexual access, and financial support in exchange for minimal male companionship. These relationships normalize extreme inequality, with women bearing all emotional and economic costs while men contribute little beyond their scarce presence. Many Ukrainian women work multiple jobs specifically to financially support male partners who leverage their scarcity value rather than contributing productively to relationships. Ukraine exemplifies how extreme demographic imbalances can fundamentally reshape entire societies. The 1,170 women per 1,000 men ratio has created social dynamics that challenge every assumption about modern European relationship norms. Our exploration of Eastern European demographic crises continues in the next episode, where we'll examine Russia's even more severe situation as the world's seventh-ranked country for male shortage. This investigation will reveal how Slavic demographic collapse threatens regional stability. Which aspect of Ukraine's demographic crisis surprised you most? Share your perspectives in the comments and help spread awareness by sharing this content with others who need to understand how demographic extremes are reshaping European society.